I tried to hug my wife that evening. Just a simple gesture. A quiet bridge across the distance that had been growing between us for months. But before my arms could even reach her, she stepped back. "Don't touch me," she said sharply. No hesitation. No emotion. Just ice. I stood there, still halfway leaning forward, hands awkwardly frozen midair. The silence afterward was heavier than any argument we'd ever had. It wasn't always like this. Claire used to melt into my arms when I came home. I'd wrap her in a hug, she'd press her face into my chest, and the whole world would feel right. But lately, everything felt wrong. She'd stop cooking together. She'd start sleeping on the far edge of the bed. And when I'd ask if something was wrong, her only answer was, "I'm just tired." That night, I didn't push. I just nodded and walked away, pretending her rejection didn't sting as deeply as it did. But inside, something cracked. You can't love someone who's already decided to stop feeling. The next morning, Claire was in the kitchen, sipping coffee like nothing had happened. "Can I have your card?" she asked casually, eyes on her phone. "My card?" "Yeah, I need to do some shopping." Her tone was flat. Not a request, more like an expectation. I stared at her for a second, and in that silence, 100 memories flashed. The dinners I paid for, the vacations she planned, the endless bills I covered while she drifted further away from me emotionally. A strange calm washed over me. I smiled faintly and said, "You said not to touch you, so don't touch my money either." Her head jerked up. "What did you just say?" "You heard me." I took a sip of my own coffee. If affection's off the table, so is convenience. For the first time in months, she looked genuinely shocked. Then angry. "Are you being serious right now, Ryan?" I met her glare. Dead serious. She laughed bitterly, shaking her head like I'd said something absurd. "You're being ridiculous. I just wanted to buy groceries." "Then use your card," I said quietly. "Oh, that's right. You don't have one, do you?" She slammed her cup on the counter and stormed off. I just stood there, staring at the coffee stain she left behind. A perfect brown ring on white marble, like a tiny symbol of everything that had soured between us. All day, her words replayed in my head. "Don't touch me." It wasn't just rejection. It was contempt, the kind that festers when love turns into obligation. That night, when she didn't come home until almost midnight, I didn't ask where she'd been. I was done begging for honesty. But when she walked past me toward the bedroom, a faint scent followed her. Musky, unfamiliar, and definitely not hers. I sat there on the couch, eyes fixed on the dark TV screen, my reflection faintly visible in it. I didn't need to see her phone. I didn't need to ask questions. The truth was already in the air, lingering like cheap cologne. I lay awake long after she fell asleep, listening to the quiet rhythm of her breathing, wondering how long she'd been pretending. Somewhere between resentment and pain, a plan began to form. Not out of revenge, but clarity. If she didn't want to be touched, I would make sure she never needed to touch anything of mine again. Not my card. Not my comfort. Not my life. The next morning, I woke up early. I brewed coffee, packed a small duffel bag, and left a note on the counter that said only 3 words. "Don't wait up." When Claire woke up, I was already gone. She called once, then twice. By the 3rd time, I was driving down the interstate, the city shrinking in my rearview mirror, and I let the phone ring until it stopped. I didn't have a plan. I just knew I needed distance. From her, from the house that felt more like a museum than a home, from the constant silence that screamed louder than words ever could. I checked into a small hotel on the edge of town. The kind with faded wallpaper and a coffee maker that sputtered more steam than caffeine. For the first time in months, I felt peace. That afternoon, I finally picked up her call. "Where are you?" she demanded. "Out," I said simply. "Out where? You can't just disappear, Ryan." "I didn't disappear, Claire. You did. Months ago." There was a long pause. I could almost hear her breathing quicken through the phone. "What are you talking about?" "I tried to hug you," I said quietly. "You told me not to touch you. And now you want my card, my time, my patience. Everything but my heart." She went silent again. Then her voice softened, the first hint of emotion I'd heard in weeks. Ryan, I just needed space. Space is fine, I said. But you built a whole life in that space without me. She hung up. For a few days, I didn't go back. I worked remotely, hit the gym, spent evenings just walking by the lake. It was strange how calm loneliness could feel once you stopped fighting it. By the fourth day, she showed up at the hotel. I saw her through the lobby glass. Same blue coat, same anxious eyes. "Can we talk?" she asked. I nodded and led her to the bench outside. "I'm sorry," she began. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't know how to feel anymore." "About me? Or about someone else?" I asked. Her lips parted slightly. A tiny flinch that said more than any confession could. "You don't have to lie," I said. "I could smell his cologne that night." She closed her eyes, tears gathering at the corners. "It wasn't what you think." I almost laughed. "It never is." She reached for my hand, but I pulled back this time. Her eyes widened. The same surprise I'd felt that morning when she said not to touch her. "Feels different, doesn't it?" I said softly. She wiped a tear and whispered, "Please don't leave me." For a second, I almost gave in. Because love doesn't switch off easily. It fades, yes, but the ache stays, reminding you of what once was. But then I remembered every time she turned away, every cold night, every unanswered text while she was out with friends. "I'm not leaving," I said slowly. "I'm just done being invisible." I stood up, pulled a small envelope from my jacket, and handed it to her. "What's this?" "My card," I said. "You wanted it, right?" She looked confused. Then she opened it, and inside was a replacement debit card, canceled and cut clean in half. "I opened a new account," I said. "For me. Just me." Her voice broke. "So that's it? You're punishing me?" "No," I said. "I'm freeing myself." She looked down at the pieces of plastic in her hand. One last symbol of a marriage that had already split long before that morning. I walked away, and for once, she didn't call after me. The wind was cold, but it felt honest. That night, I booked a new apartment. Small, quiet, nothing fancy, just mine. No marble counters. No perfume lingering on pillows. Just peace. A week later, I got a message from her. No begging, no apologies. Just 3 words. "I miss you." I didn't reply, because some messages don't need answers, they need endings. And this time I finally had one.